coach deal with him. Let the coach deal with him. You definitely have to have a mindset that you're going to go 100% no matter what. My motivation was probably just to do the best that I could do. Everybody really pushed me and believed into me, and I think that really helped out a lot. And then once I started believing, then I just kind of motivated myself to do what I had to do.
Cody, as a freshman, Cody didn't come out for wrestling when we started the year.
He was terrible. He was not a good wrestler at all.
We were just proud that he was participating.
Pudgy, clumsy, stupid. Some matches he was into it and would actually go out and like attack. Other matches he would slack off to like the last 30 seconds and then he'd lose by a couple points or something. And then other matches he would just completely dominate.
We knew he had a great work ethic and he was a powerful kid, and if we could teach him some basic moves, he would be successful. Cody's sophomore year, he didn't come out right away. That was the year his sister had passed away.
That first week of wrestling, his sister got in a car accident and passed away. And we got him to come back into wrestling, and when he started, he just kind of had that drive, like he wanted to go out and win. He wanted to do something.
When Cody did come out, he had a focus that we knew was going to be good.
We lost his sister in November, and after that he just kind of seemed like he had a passion or a burn to do that, and he just kind of seemed to excel. Just really saw a spark and a desire.
With his sister passing, gave him that drive to go out and kick some butt, I guess.
And when he would win, you know, he would point up to her, and
when he'd win a match, he'd point up, you know, like, this is for you, to his sister, to kind of show like he wants to do good for her.
Cody felt really comfortable with his double leg, so he continued to develop that and explode into his double leg and lift. And as he came down, as a sophomore, when he would bring kids down, he would bring them down sometimes out of control. So we had to work on stuff on top too. As the year progressed, we worked on, as he lifted and brought kids down, that he would transition into a half. I remember at regionals, he was pinning a kid in a cradle out of bounds, and we told him to pull the kid in, and he just stood up and lifted the kid up, 195-pound kid, and just picked him up in a cradle and walked him back to the center, and the ref had never seen it before and was afraid that Cody was just going to drop the kid, but Cody didn't. He set him down gently and then pinned the kid in the middle of the mat. He ended up second that year as a sophomore.
I first became acquainted with Cody when he was an 8th grader, and I was helping with 8th grade football, and he was one of the most explosive 8th graders, powerful 8th graders that I'd had the opportunity to coach. He initially wasn't sure he should try it. Football was his favorite sport. He was lifting weights after school. The season started. He wasn't with us. We would see him in the weight room with a couple other freshmen, and we would ask each of those kids, are they sure? And they said, well, could we come up and watch some practices? And so sometime in December, they came up and watched some practices, and the next day came in and said, you know, we think we'd like to try it. Cody was a kid that probably he was probably our best 180-pounder at that time, but he wasn't ready to wrestle varsity, and so we kept him in JV matches during the month of January, and I remember him going down to the Riverton tournament. So he's got about 6 weeks of wrestling behind him, and he wins the JV division. That late fall and early winter, Cody had some real tragedies in his life. His sister was on her way to school. It was one of those typical early December, late November snow days, and she hit some snow and ice and rolled a vehicle and was killed in the accident. It was just a terrible, terrible tragedy. Cody was still questioning whether he would come out that winter or not. He's got 2 younger siblings that he was spending a lot of time taking care of for his mom as well, and they weren't sure that wrestling would fit into the schedule now that the sister was gone. A decision was made just before Christmas break that, you know, despite all of this, the best thing for Cody to do was to get himself really involved in sports again and to try to focus on those kinds of positive things. And as far as Cody came his freshman year, his motivation was tripled. Cody was a young sophomore that was a very strong kid, but was still trying to develop a mat sense, a balance in wrestling technique. He seemed to learn at an accelerated pace. He just became motivated, I think, to make that a very positive part of his life and to try to help him put some of the other pieces behind him. He ended up becoming a conference champion as a sophomore. He ended up getting to the finals of the state tournament. Ended up second that year. That motivation continued through the spring, and all of a sudden a sport that you had to talk Cody into now was probably his favorite sport. In fact, it was to the point where he'd rather spend time wrestling than get ready for football. It was just a complete cycle change for Cody, and had an amazing junior year, and I had the opportunity to be involved in that as well. Now he was a wrestler that our coaches had to spend more time working with because it was hard for us. He would dominate people in his weight classes in our practice room. He'd gotten to that point where if he was going 100%, or we wanted him to have to go 100% and finish his shots against the best, Coach Cleland, Coach Kesner, those coaches were spending a lot of time wrestling with Cody. Had another very, very good season. I believe he became a team leader in terms of work ethic, a team leader in terms of a culture of focus and pride in being part of a team. And it was just an amazing 4 years for a young man that a lot of adults, I believe, weren't sure he had the ability to show that kind of dedication or ability. And I think that sport was extremely important for Cody. I think he began to take a little bit more pride in his schoolwork because he knew that had to be a part of it. He knew he was a student athlete. He'll be graduating this spring, and he's excited about his future and his post-high school college work. And I think the sport of wrestling was a big piece of that, and Cody certainly became a very valuable part of the wrestling program here at Sheridan High School.
He was very relaxed going into a state championship match. I remember as he was warming up for it, I told him to settle down a little bit because he was doing sets of like 15 telly lunges and then like 20 push-ups and then going back to telly lunges, and I thought he was going to wear himself out before he went out there. But he told me he knew what he was doing, and he did. He went out into his finals match with confidence and shot his high crotch, and he over this year kind of opened up to some other things. He did elbow pass to high crotch and single leg. That he was successful with both of those in that match as well. And he won.